So I'm going to teach you how to use my language learning accelerator, give you a tour of all the bells and whistles, and also we're going to learn some French together.
Oui, bien sûr, je parle français. Qu'est-ce que tu penses alors?
Oh, you're so sexy.
So make sure you've downloaded the app and that you have uploaded the language lists, just like we talked about in the previous video. And then go ahead and select a list. Now we're going to just kind of take a tour of these different kind of lists. You'll notice that they have different numbers. So let's start at the top. No matter what the language is, at the top, there will always be a trainer lists. And these basically, typically, are using what's called minimal pairs.
Lit. Lu. Si. Su. Ri. Rue.
So that helps you to start to notice the nuances in how certain sounds are in the language, especially because your native language might not have a sound that perhaps French does. And so learning to hear the difference and say the difference can be important. And so that's a good place to start. You'll notice, by the way, that as soon as we selected a list, that a whole bunch of words cropped up in this vocab area here. And that is an area that is totally editable. And I'll show you more about how that works in another video. It's pretty simple once you learn it, but we're not going to explain that for now because you don't need it. So let's say that we've just learned some of the sounds. What you can do now is we can just start playing with some of these 101 lists. And you can do just any list that appeals to you. One that is kind of satisfying is to learn numbers. And so we might start off right here. Let's do a number 3 list. And so notice that we can start learning our numbers.
0.
0.
1.
1.
2.
2.
3.
3.
4.
4.
5.
5.
6.
6.
7.
7.
8.
8.
9.
9.
10.
10. All right. Now,
3.
we just got a little celebration that came up on the screen, and that is our streak counter increasing. Every day that we use the app and we click next 5 to 10 times, somewhere in there, it's going to do that little celebration to let you know that your daily streak has increased. And so there are 2 counters. One is the streak counter, how many days in a row have you used the app? And the next is the lifetime counter. That's how many days total have you used it. I've also got today's reps. That's how many times have you clicked next today. And then your lifetime reps, that's how many times have you clicked next, which you'll notice we are going on 25,000. But just so you know, a lot of those were as I designed the app. So that doesn't mean I've gotten to do as much language learning as I would like because I was building the thing. Let's say that maybe we just want to focus on learning rather than all of the numbers and different things inside of there. Maybe we just want to focus on learning the numbers from 0 to 10. So let's go into this range counter and I'll just put in the number 11. From 0 to 10 is 11. Okay, so then now those are the only ones that are going to show up here when we click next.
0.
But maybe we don't just want to learn them in order like that. Maybe we want to try learning them in different orders. So maybe I'll click shuffle, or actually no, I'll unshuffle. Maybe I'll click reverse. And now
10.
10,
9.
9,
8.
8,
7.
7,
6.
6,
5.
5,
4.
4,
3.
3,
2.
2,
1.
1,
0.
0. Beautiful. Okay, now maybe we're feeling pretty comfortable with those. Maybe we want to shuffle them up.
7.
7,
1.
1,
8.
8,
3.
3,
6.
6,
9.
9,
0.
0,
2.
2,
5.
5,
10.
10,
4.
4. Okay.
Slow clap for your brilliance.
Oh, notice what that is. We just got a little reward because we made it through our full set. So these are little rewards that come up occasionally, and you can control this in the Reward Me section. And there's two main ways you could do it. One is to, every time you complete a list, including if you've only selected part of the list, then a reward will come up, one of these things here. And you can customize these, you can change what they say and what comes up. You can also, rather than every time you complete a list, you could have it be, say, maybe after you do 50 times, right? And so that anytime that you click it next 50 times, it'll do it. Or perhaps you want to be uncertain about when that reward will come up. So maybe between 100 and 200. With that range selected, then it'll randomly choose some number between 100 and 200. And after you click next that many times, it'll reward you for your efforts. And that's part of a sort of a conditioned reinforcement approach to helping encourage you to use the app. You could also have both selected. So with how I have it set now, somewhere between 100 and 200 times of my clicking next, it'll reward me. And also every time I complete a list, it'll reward me. I kind of prefer just to have it like this, though both work. So we've got this sort of list all sort of set up. One thing we can do is we can unshuffle it. So now it'll be back to this original order. We can also undo that so that now it seems like it should be like that, but then you're like, it's not going. And so anytime that happens, you just click unshuffle and it'll be fine. Okay, so remember, unshuffle is a magic button. We love that button. And so now let's go to glue words. And I'd like you to notice that there are three sets of the glue words. And so let's actually go to glue words number 1. And notice,
Bonjour.
bonjour. So it has the foreign word. It also has a phonetic pronunciation of the word to help you learn how to say it. And then in this list, it also has the translation of the word. Okay, so that way, if you're like, yeah, I don't know, why are these people waving? You can know exactly why. Okay, so that's one. You might want to start with that list, especially with lists that are more conceptual. The words, you might want to start with having the translations available. The second list in that set will be glue words with just pronunciation. So
Bonjour.
now we've got the word, we've got the phonetic pronunciation, we've also got a we've got a helper that kind of suggests how to say the word correctly. And
Au revoir.
it'll have that for each word, something different, ideally. And then on the third list, we've got just the words themselves.
Bonjour. Au revoir. Bonjour. Bonne nuit.
With plenty of lists, let's say, for example, with animals,
Un chien.
you probably don't need a translation.
Les chiens. Un chat. Les chats.
But with other lists, you might, right? And depending on the language, the pronunciation helpers can be more or less important. In Spanish, if you're a native English speaker, they might not be as important, whereas with French, they can be very helpful, and so on. And so each of these 101 lists cover things that can be helpful, and we've even got numbers covered in a variety of ways. And we've even got combinations. So for example,
Zéro rouge.
you can learn not just the number, but also start to get different colors and get them combined in different ways.
Un rouge.
Here, it makes more sense if I shuffle it.
89 doré.
All right, so we see that this is 89 in gold,
57 jaune.
and this is 57 in yellow,
37 violet.
and this is 37 in purple,
24 vert.
24 in green, and so on, right? So now we're learning multiple words at once, or reinforcing them. And so one of the things is you don't necessarily have to totally memorize a list in order to just continue moving on, because you can get repeated exposure in different ways too as we move forward. So let's go back to numbers for a second. And we'll continue playing with 0 through 10. And now let's say that we want to,
Zéro.
let's say we want to sort of test ourselves a little bit. Okay, so what we could do is to go down to this next action. And normally, when you click next, you see the word and you hear the word and you see the image search. But what we can do is we could go to something like next plus here,
1,
and we hear the word and we see the word, but then we have to decide, okay, what is that? Oh, that's 1. And then we can click C, and we see the word and we go, okay. And actually, I'll shuffle these so that we don't know. And by the way, if you're on your phone, you'll use these a bunch. If you're on a computer, you'll probably use the shortcuts, the keyboard shortcuts. Okay, and those, oops, and those are right here. So right now, because of how my keyboard is laid out, I press 3 in order to click next. Sometimes I press 2 in order to see in order to see the image search. I press 1 in order to hear the word, and I press 4 in order to go back. You can set these for pretty much anything except the arrow keys. And I know you're thinking, but I really would like to use the arrow keys. I understand, but the arrow keys are how you move up and down the page, and so we can't have multiple things on the arrow keys. So because of that, you just have to select some set of numbers, letters, whatever, something on the keyboard that you can use, and you'll quickly, whatever you choose, if it's convenient for you, you'll quickly just learn it through muscle memory. Okay, so going back to this, we've got it shuffled.
4,
Cat. Okay, you might think, okay, what is that? You can make your guess, and then you see it. You're like, okay.
1,
Okay, you might remember that is 1.
8,
And maybe you start to remember, oh, that's 8. Another way we could do it is we could click next action, and maybe we do C. And then we have to remember how to say it. Cinq.
5,
And again, different voices will pronounce it slightly differently. Or maybe we go down to here and we click next only. And we just see the word. And so we have to guess, okay, I think that's D, which is 2.
2,
Okay. Now notice that with that, I had to click both C and here, which is why when we're doing this, we might change the C action to both C and here. That way, when we click next, we go, oh, that's toi, and I can both see and hear it when I click C.
3, 0,
Now, maybe we want to do next images only. Okay, so we have to think, oh, the number 10, that is 10.
10,
And this is 9.
9,
And this is 6.
6,
Okay. Or maybe we want this final option, which is where we go forward.
7,
And we heard the word. And so we go, what is that? I think that is 7. Oh my goodness, I was right. Okay. And then we're made it to the end of the list again, so we get a reward.
That's pure excellence.
You're right, it is. Look at those cute little koalas. Okay.
4,
Okay, and then we could continue, and it said quatre, so we're going to say that's 4. Ha ha. Okay, now I will tell you, I use this most of the time, like that set of seeing it and hearing it and seeing images, very powerful. But you can totally play around and do what excites you, and find out what works best for you. That's the nice thing about this app. It's very flexible. So all of these are designed to teach you your first 1,000 or so words in your new language. So they give you a really strong start and help you to get a good grounding. And personally, that's my main goal, is to just get that first 1,000 words in a bunch of languages, because I enjoy being able to have that sort of freedom. If you want to gain fluency, you would obviously need to study more words, but this will give you a great start. In another video, I'll teach you how to create new lists fairly simply and easily. Now, let's see. So if you go down here, you'll notice there are a few kinds of verb lists in the 101s. And let's go with this one here. And well, we'll do this. We'll do the translations. And so if we start going through this,
aller,
aller,
venir,
venir,
s'arrêter,
s'arrêter,
attendre,
attendre,
arriver,
arriver. So we've got verbs. Now, those are our initial intro to verbs. And we start with, in these lists, we start with just some verbs on the basic layer for choice, and then some verbs that are just every day, and then we have a whole bunch of verbs in this next set. But if we go down to the 102 list, and the 103 list, and the 104, and the 105, those start to combine things. So let's actually jump down here to the 103 version of the verbs more. So this is where we can see
aller,
aller starts to become
en train d'aller,
en train d'aller, which is the sort of the ongoing present tense.
il est allé,
Il est allé, which is the past tense.
il ira,
Il ira, which is the future tense. Okay, so this list will give us the present,
venir,
the ongoing present,
en train de venir,
the past,
il est venu,
and the future.
il viendra,
And you'll notice the difference is one is just a picture of the verb happening,
attendre,
of the verb, like a little GIF, a little video of the verb,
en train d'attendre,
a black and white or old photo of the verb,
il a attendu,
and a drawing, ideally of a sort of a futuristic version.
il attendra,
Then, if we go further, let's say we go down to the same verbs in the 104, then,
aller,
so we'll start with just sort of a silhouette to give us the present tense, and then we start talking about who is doing it.
je vais, tu vas, elle va, il va, nous allons, ils vont,
Okay, so you can see both the images themselves and also these little emojis help us to recognize what they mean. And that way we could do this version without the translations if we wish, pretty easily.
aller, je vais, tu vas, elle va, il va, nous allons, ils vont,
And even without the English translation there, you know pretty well what they mean. Then, if we take one step further, if we go into the 105 lists, this is the subjunctive list, and this is where verbs start to change some more.
je vais. Ma prof veut que j'aille.
Notice that
Je vais.
I go
Ma prof veut que j'aille.
becomes slightly different here.
Tu vas.
Like you go,
Ton ami demande que tu ailles.
the rather than
Tu vas.
tu vas,
Ton ami demande que tu ailles.
it becomes que tu ailles because of this part right here. And we don't even need to really fully understand that if you just go through the list.
Elle va. Sa mère souhaite qu'elle aille.
You can start to recognize when those changes happen and why. What are the cues?
Il va. Il est important qu'il aille.
But again, this is advanced. You don't have to go straight to that. You can start by learning a whole bunch of vocabulary, and then you can start to learn some of the advancements of the verbs. Going back here, we can go back to the 102 lists, and these,
Les 12 jours de Noël.
start to give us more sentencey type things. We start to combine words together.
12 batteurs qui jouent du tambour. 11 joueurs de flûte. 10 seigneurs qui sautent.
We've got a whole bunch of different things in there. So if I click shuffle,
Les trois Stooges. Un trèfle à 4 feuilles. 8 pattes.
and I suggest with this list, you may want to just start with the version that has translations. Once you're comfortable, you can move on. If you need help with pronunciation, then go to that list, or you could just go straight next to the version without it. And
50-50. 6 cordes. 5 orteils.
then we can also go to the other kind of 102 list, which are sentences.
Un garçon mange une pomme rouge à table.
And you'll notice that the images represent really well what it's saying.
Une fille boit un verre de lait froid.
So you can choose if you want to have the translation there, or if you wish to go down.
Un garçon mange une pomme rouge à table. Une fille boit un verre de lait froid.
If you've done all of the previous lists, all of the 101 lists, then probably you'll be pretty comfortable doing this list without translations, but it's up to you.
Une vache mâche de l'herbe dans un champ. John demande l'addition au serveur au restaurant. 2 sœurs courent avec leur chien dans un parc.
One of the key things to remember is to go at your own pace and go with what you're comfortable with. Go with what interests you. If you want to learn adjectives, go ahead. Like just do that for the day.
Bon. Mauvais. Grand. Petit. Long. Grand. Petit. Gros. Mince. Étroit. Large. Rapide. Lent.
See, one of the nice things is this is totally flexible to you. You can choose what you want to learn and when. You can go at your own pace. You could go straight to just the words. You could use some of the translations if you want help. You can always go back to the trainers. You could jump ahead and start to learn how conjugations work so that your brain starts to prepare for it. And it can just be an exploration where you can enjoy the learning process. And one of the things that's really cool is that it's very motivating because you'll quickly learn what the colors are, or how to say the different animals, or how to say simple social glue words, or how to count. And that will quickly build your confidence. And one of the nice things to remember is even as you're doing that, let's say you're learning to count.
0. 1. 2. 3.
And you're like, how do I say it?
3. 3.
You can just keep hearing it and repeating it. Trois,
3.
trois,
3. 3.
toi. Ah,
3.
toi. Okay. And until you feel pretty comfortable with it, and then you move on.
4.
And again, you can use all of these different variations in order to start testing yourself. You can do shuffle and reverse and all of these things. And so a couple other things to be aware of that can be helpful. One is you can choose whether to save your location in a list or not. If you have save your location on, then when you go through a list,
5. 6.
then when you restart the app and you click next again,
6.
when you click next again, it'll remember your location. I tend nowadays just to keep it off, but if you've got a really long list, you probably want to keep that on. In the text settings and keyboard, you can change fonts. So maybe we want to change to Playfair Display, or maybe we want to change to cursive font, or maybe we want to change to a font that's helpful for people who have dyslexia. So you've got all these options available. You can also change the font size. So for example, if we have multiple lines, we could change size of the top line. We could change the size of the other lines. However you want to do that, whatever looks best for you. One more thing to mention is that you'll notice the images come from Microsoft's Bing image search. So a few things about that. One is that I recommend you sign in to Microsoft. And if you need to, you create an account with them. And the reason why is that it will just allow this to function better. It'll also save some of your settings. For example, most likely you want autoplay GIFs to be on unless you have a medical issue where flashing lights and such thing and moving images can cause seizures, in which case you might want to turn that off. But typically you probably want to keep it on. And you will probably want to have your safe search on. You can have it to strict, moderate, off. I tested all of the searches with it on strict, but you can do what you want. If you change that, you don't necessarily know what'll come up. You can also,
Un chien.
let's say we wanted to change this image. Maybe we wanted to check and see what would be like a more memorable image. Well, how about if I made it rather than a single dog, a single crazy dog? Oh, that's fun. And then maybe I would take that and I could replace that here on this line in here for that. And I just paste it in and I could just click load words and then I click save list and to save it. And
Un
then
chien.
when that comes up, it'll be a single crazy dog. And so you can customize these. Look at them, so cute, to make them more memorable and just enjoyable for you. And we'll talk more about that in another video, which we'll talk about how to create lists, including for languages that are not yet covered in the list that I include with the app. Now you'll notice as I continue to take you through the app, you'll notice we've got some different things up here. You can get study reminders. And so this allows you to add a little study reminder to your Google Calendar, your Outlook Calendar, your Apple Calendar, whatever you have. You can also backup. So all of this stuff, every single thing of it is stored in your web browser, which again, I use Chrome. This may work just fine on other browsers. I've tested it on a couple others, but Chrome, it's sure to work because that's where I've tested it. But anyway, everything is stored there. If you were to clear out your cookies or something like that, then you might lose all this. You could lose your progress, you could lose your streaks, you could lose your list, all that, and you'd have to start over. And so we can click backup in order to make a backup of all that. And then, if something was to happen with your computer, you could just click restore and open up that backup, and all of this is going to come back.
3, 2, 1.
Tout le plaisir est pour moi, mon ami.
Seriously, stop it. I'm gonna jump on you.